Hello, everyone. Welcome to chapter 244 on my RLDR Custom Creations YouTube channel. It is the weekend edition, and I'm in my welding getup. So we're going to be burning some wire this video. So if you want to see what I'm working on, all you need to do is stay tuned. Well, yeah, I got my welding stuff out again. It's one of the one of those welding woodworking projects again. I'm doing a lot of those lately. So, but hang in there. There is some method to my madness. So anyway, we're going to put this on later. Remember, a couple of videos ago, I showed you this, my lumber storage racks. Well, I've been working on them and I got started on them. And actually, I have all the pieces cut. And in order to do this video, I actually have one rack welded and painted and everything. So that's been really good. So yeah, I made the measurements from here. I was delusional when I made these measurements, as I'd forgotten what kind of steel I had bought and wasn't exactly sure on how much steel I was getting from good friend Charles. So well, once I had it all here, got it all figured out, I adjusted the measurements a little bit, but essentially the rack looks very similar to what I have in the drawing. But now we no longer need a drawing because we have an actual artifact that works. So in this video, I'm going to show you the process of putting my lumber racks together. So actually, I'll show you the process of putting one together, and then I'm going to hopefully weld the other two. And I had my timeline all planned out, and now we're getting some miserable weather. You'll notice in the video, which I shot already, the weather's great, other than windy, which I had to deal with. But the weather's great, and I thought, okay, we had to be in Saskatoon today. So, okay, tomorrow's Friday. I'm going to get in there and I'm going to weld those two together quickly and put paint on them Saturday morning. And Monday, I'll start installing them. Well, now they're forecasting snow for Saturday. I think it's Saturday again. So I don't know. The weather may interrupt this and cause some problems. But and some of the video I got from working outside is always a bit difficult, and my welding booth out there is far from the way it should be. But hopefully you understand the process and the idea. The execution of the idea, well, that's up to you if you're going to do your own. But this is the way I did it, and I think the first one turned out quite nicely, and it's going to get installed hopefully early next week. So anyway, with that in mind, let's get into the video, and we're going to burn some wire. Well, a little unorthodox way of cutting this. I didn't want to drag my bandsaw out into the yard, but that is where I'm going to do the fabrication welding. But this, I just had to pull it out from the corner and run the steel through the doorway, and that's the view you're getting. Okay, this is, thank goodness that I have friends with materials. That's great. This is 2.5-inch tube, and the wall thickness is about 0.150. So I'm not familiar with pipe thicknesses, but it's good, heavy, substantial pipe. And I've already made one mistake. I measured the bottom and got the bottom right. I haven't cut them yet, but I know what they're going to be. And I just kind of, without thinking, cut one or two of these that same length. And that's not good because there's a 6-inch wooden kind of pseudo foundation there. So I can make these a little longer and get a little bit more capacity. So I am cutting these with my metal cutting bandsaw to 34 inches. So let's see how this works. There we go. Good heavy steel. Okay, so I'm just going to continue. I need to cut 9 of these at 34 inches. And now I have 2. So we're going to keep cutting. I'll bring you back when the cutting's done and fitting. So one of the things I need to do is mark where my lumber supports are going to go on the main beam here. So the total area that I have in my storage area is 82 inches. But the steel I have here, these are 6-footers because I figured I didn't need to go all the way to the top. So basically what it worked out to is from the very bottom of everything, 20 and a half inches, 20 and a half inches gives me 4 equal spaces. So I've got it marked already. So all I need to do, I'm just going to double check my marks to be sure. And this first one is all the way to the bottom. So it's about there. Okay. So that one's good. We'll just use an old trick I used when laying out plates when I was framing. Okay, it's time to make some more of these notches. Now, how I'm going to join the lumber supports onto the main beam there is it's going to go like that. So that way, now this is 2x3. So the piece that I have, will come to about where my thumb is so that I can weld a bead nicely all the way around there and then over the top and bottom. I like lots of weld. So that's what's going to happen. Now, the way I've been doing this, it isn't terribly scientific, actually. What I've been doing is just putting this against there. Now, the tube, the inner diameter of the tube is very close to the outer diameter of the 2x2. So, or yeah, I'm using 2x2. Remember, this is 2x3. Okay, so I just kind of hold it level, bounce both sides, and make a mark like that. Oops, okay. Okay, so that's measuring. I'm going to need to go get my square. I'll be right back. Distance. Squaring this is a little bit of a challenge. So not really the right way to do it, but I'm trusting my eye as well. And I just have to make a mark here. Okay, where is that? There it is. Okay. Now I'm reading the metric side here and I'm just not as proficient in that. So we're going to go like that. Okay, now we'll do it on the inch side. And we'll do that. And that. Okay, so those are the lines. Now I made a mark on my square, so they should be, yeah, they're really, really nice and accurate. So, okay, I could take a piece of paper and bend it around there and draw an accurate line, but I don't have one. So I kind of trust my instincts here. And I'm just going to freehand it. Just make sure I'm marking the right way. Yes, this comes out. That goes. I should just double check. Yep, they're right on. Okay, and we're going to go in the middle here. And again, just like I say, a piece of cardboard, or not cardboard, but bristle board would make a nice ruler for this, but that works just fine as well. So I'm going to fire up the plasma now, and we're going to cut that out, and then we'll just touch it up with a grinder, and we should finished one stack. I don't know if I'm going to tack it together. I might cut them all. It doesn't take that long. Anyway, away we go.
0.
Well, I'm not trying to show off my tech here, but if you work with metal at all, and you can afford a plasma cutter, it's worth it. Now, I bought this when the school liquidated its old equipment. This is something that I bought for the school in the late 90s, and it's worked really good. I use it a little bit here and there, but for what I got it for, I have that luxury. So yeah, this isn't trying to show off. It's just because it's faster for me. Now, you could cut this with a cutting wheel just fine. I did the first one. It worked great. Okay, so the machine that I have is a Hypertherm Power Max 380. It's an old one. Okay, so I'm going to do some cutting. Now, it cuts better going straight through than at the angle. So I think I'm going to cut straight through, and then I'm going to play with the grinder. And the other thing about this machine is just getting yourself nice and steady. I'm using a number 5 shade, which is what I use for oxyacetylene cutting. And this isn't what they recommend, but I find it works for me. So again, if you don't like it, don't do it. Okay, there we go. Did I mention this is one of the most fun tools to run? I could do this all day. Okay, yeah, the compressor runs. If you're not familiar with plasma, this hooks up to the air compressor to provide your blast. So anyway, yeah, the compressor's running. Not much I can do about that. Now I have to grind. Now I've got to grind the edge off of there so it fits in. That's all there's to it. So I think. Well, you can see by the flag flying on my grandkids' clubhouse that it is too windy to MIG weld today. So I came up with this instead. I dragged my section of scaffolding over to the front garage door in my shop, and that way I can open the door, pull the welder out and all the things I need, and then close it again so I don't damage the pre-finished plywood that I have for my cabinets there. But yeah, I found a bunch of welding curtain that I bought years ago, and it's worked out really well. I've been really happy with it. And I just kind of did this corner because that's the direction the wind comes from. But basically, I can speak from experience already. There were no shield gas problems. So eventually I will finish this and make this into my dedicated outdoor welding booth. until my shop is clean enough that I can actually weld inside again. So yeah, this worked out well. Well, my trusty welding booth has worked out pretty good here. I'm not experiencing any problems with shield gas, so that's wonderful. So I have the bottom in already, and you can't see it in this frame. But I made a mistake right off the bat. I was going to put the bottom under the, the 2x2, and instead I welded it on the side. And I considered cutting it apart, but I had it pretty much all welded already, and I'm just not going to do it. And then I went for coffee and kind of got thinking about it. All I need to do is cut the end off a little bit, and that's pretty easy. I'll just fire up the plasma and do that. But this way, that joint is a lot stronger. Does it need to be? I don't know. But I thought rather than ripping it all apart and having to make new parts, I would just redesign as I go. And as it turns out, my marks were still good. I lost a little bit of space down in the very first bunk, but I don't think that's a big deal. So the rest of it, though, I'm just going to keep on going. And I'm going to tap this in, grind it a little bit, and then weld it. So I haven't either been setting things quite square. Like it's all very close, but what I'm doing is keeping the distance between these exactly the same. So, and it turns out it's tipping it up just a wee bit, which I'm quite okay with. So anyway, you know, when you start welding something together, even though you got a plan for it, sometimes things change a bit. So let's tap this together and run some bead. Oh, by the way, I'm running my helmet at number 6. I don't recommend it to any of you guys out there, but I can see what I'm doing, and but I'm just welding in little chunks. I'm not burn wire for 5, 6 hours, 8 hours. I'm gonna take 15, 20 minutes at a time and let my eyes rest. That's the way us old timers do it. Okay, we're gonna get on this now. That's all I can do. There it goes. That's in all the way, and it's on the mark. Okay, and it should be about 18 and a, well, this one's a little more, 18 and a 18 and 8. That's what it should be. And there we go. That's it right there. And I just like to clean off the tab here. Come on. I'm running the tip a little close and I get stuck every once in a while. Okay, this actually might work better. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. Okay, let's do this side here. Hopefully you can see some of this. Hey, that's my best one yet. I'm getting there. I am really getting there. Okay, so I need the MIG plier, and I should check this right away, just to make sure it stayed. Yeah, perfect. Okay, here we go again. I am getting better. That's good. Okay, now we're going to come around. We're going to weld half of it. That'll do. Okay. Now, another thing that I've been putting in here, whenever I would go pick up steel from, well, first of all, it was Flexicoil and then CNH when, before they got their metal cutting fully automated, there was always lots of scrap. So I would go there and basically Flexicoil and CNH, which is now the CNH is the same company. It used to be Flexicoil. And they basically put all my welders for 30 years through my program because I never bought steel. But I always took, whenever I found odd pieces, I'd grab them. Because if you're doing a project, there's nothing worse than having to cut these. Whereas I have them now, so now all I need to do is put them in, get them kind of close, and tack them. There we go. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna weld that in now. Okay, here we go. Now, those welds look pretty good. They're just a horizontal fillet joint, which is a good weld to practice. We did it at school all the time. Okay, here we go again. Yeah, not too bad. The whip gets caught on things here, and then it gets hard to drag, and that kind of throws your weld off too. So, okay, now I'm going to go from there to there, and then this side is done. And there we go. That's that. Well, the welds are all done on the other side. I flipped it over, and I'm just going to weld all this up now. All the settings are done, and see how this goes. So I'm not sure if you're going to be able. Oh, well, I think this is done. I'm going to maybe take it out and stand it. We'll see. But I think I welded this solidly and a bit on the other side. And all of a sudden, the welder was starting to get a little bit erratic. And every once in a while, when I taught and we'd push welders past their duty cycle, that would happen. So, but it's welding good again, so minor. Okay, well, this one's welded. I think that's probably all the welding you'll see. But yeah, it worked really well. These joints, they're not the prettiest, but I think they're strong. And we'll put some bolts through here into the building to help hold it straight and square. and I think it's going to be an awesome lumber storage rack. So anyway, we'll see you when we get to the next step. Well, it's all welded together and time to put just a coat of paint on. I've got a 4-liter can of Tremclad here that I bought for another project, and that project wasn't mine, so it's no longer around. And I was left with pretty much a whole 4-liter can of paint. So we'll just try to, and I could have sprayed this, but I thought, oh, I don't know, I didn't want to dirty up my gun, and then I would have had to hang this somewhere, and this is going to be fine. So it's in the evening, and it's kind of cloudy overhead, but I think it'll be okay. I don't think it'll rain before it's dry. And I did decide to paint the wood holders anyway. I don't know. I don't think it's going to matter much either way. All the wood I get that'll go in here is wood from my local pine and birch suppliers. So the wood's rough. So it's not that I have to worry about having pristine wood out here. And it'll get painted, or it'll get planed and everything when I get to that stage. So hopefully I'm staying in frame for you. Had a little bit of trouble with that, other than now I have my back to you, but yeah, this is rather simple, just to paint on like this. It's still a good way to make these things. Wood, yeah, a guy could make them out of wood, but this is so much better. So my plan is to kind of put my logs that I have for turning down at the bottom here, and then we'll use the 3 bins there for one for birch, my 12-quarter birch pieces that I get. Sorry, I'm talking with my back to the camera, but and then what was I saying? Yeah, and the top 2 will probably be pine. So just a thought. Who knows, when I get that far, I may change my mind completely. Okay, well, other than the back there, I think that's it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it. I'm going to let it dry, and I'm going to put the brush in a bag, and hopefully by coffee time on Friday or Saturday, I'm painting the other 2. And then maybe Monday we'll look at doing the install, and then I can move that wood into there, and then I can start working on my landscaping back here. So I'll show you this when it's done, or when it's dry. Okay. Well, this is really miserable weather out here. It rained all day. It's supposed to rain for the next few. But this is my finished lumber support, one of them. So it turned out, I'm really quite happy with it. I wish I could show you a bit more. It's kind of wet from the weather, but maybe we'll just go in a little closer. The paint that trim clad is good stuff. This is one fairly heavy brush coat, and I'm quite pleased with it. It's going to be good. I did decide to paint on top here. I don't think that's going to matter a whole bunch, but yeah, you can see it's just kind of miserable. I did cut the bottom off. Notice the difference in length between the bottom, what it sits on, and the actual first rack. And the reason that is because right here where my finger is, there's a wooden kind of footing that we'll call it a footing. It's not really, but um, that's the difference. These ends here are just like about 3/4 of an inch inside the curtain, so that's going to be perfect. But yeah, this worked out nice. I was really hoping to get a good start tomorrow and weld the other two together and then paint them on Saturday, but I don't know. They're forecasting snow for Saturday, so I think my welding booth isn't going to be up to that task. So anyway, this is the one of them, and in a future video I'll show when all three are done and how I install them. So okay, let's wrap this video up. Well, not quite what I was expecting weather-wise today. I was expecting some rain, but here we've got the white stuff back again. So yeah, we've gone almost a week without having white stuff on the ground. So yeah, it's frustrating. So this is going to throw a wrench into my timeline. Unfortunately, the only way I can weld is to do it outside, and I would love to be able to carry it all into my shop and do it here. That way I could finish everything and we'd be done, but I got one done, so the pieces are cut for the other one. I just have to weld it all together and paint it, so we'll get that done as soon as I can, but the weather isn't looking good for the next week or so. So we'll come up with other things to do for YouTube and other projects that I need to work on. And who knows, maybe when it's raining like this, we'll get back into the house and do some more work there, or we'll build cabinet boxes in here. So either way, I have to change things around. So anyway, we got through this video at least. So please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And we will see you middle of next week on the weekly edition, which I have no idea what that'll be yet because I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing then. Take care, everyone.